Hello, this is Professor Ramanandan HS, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, MIT Mysore. So today's session we are dealing with the subject Mechatronics with the subject code of 17ME 754. So contents of today's discussion are basic elements of control system, address, arithmetic logic unit ALU, assembler, memory data register MDR, clock and clock cycle, instruction cycle, read and write cycle. So you have been continuously been exposed to the unit called as microprocessors and microcontrollers, the later part. So microprocessors you have already been familiar. So it is a processor built on a single chip or a CPU, central processing unit built on a single chip. Something similar to the brain or mind, whatever we call. So how the human mind operates, the way it interacts with the external world, the way it thinks. So all those things is simulated on a single chip called as the microprocessor. Micro is nothing but small, processor is nothing but, so it takes the instruction from the external world and processes it and give back the data which is being already stored set of data in the memory. So this is a simple introduction to microprocessor, what we have seen in the counterpart of the previous discussions. So today's discussion we will start with something called as basic elements of control system. So when you think of basic elements, you are already familiar. So elements means nothing but is a small group of components which are involved for a particular function. So control system. So control system is needed whenever you are performing a function or you have been instructed to do something. So in computer language or in case of computer systems, we say it as instruction. So instruction is nothing but it is a set of command given to execute. So those set of commands, how they are handled, because computer is not a human being, so it cannot think on its own. So it needs something to take the instruction. So how does it take the instruction? Think of a human being. How do we take instruction? We take it into our memory. So already we have certain past amount of data. So if I tell you to pick an object, so you know what is mean by pick, what do you mean by an object. So you will go, you will just observe or you will just take my instruction, go towards whether I have pointed towards an object or I have mentioned the object. So that all those things will be simultaneously going through your head. So picking is an action, object is the noun. So that is what I am going to pick. So how does the computer take an instruction to execute something? So it needs a memory to take the instruction in the initial step. So because you have taken my instruction as picking an object, so that should be So I am asking a computer to open a Microsoft Word sheet. So if I click on it, that is as an user, I am giving an instruction to the application of say Microsoft Office. So I am just clicking it with the help of a mouse from the peripheral devices. I am clicking on the command or application. So how does the computer understand that I should open a MS Word sheet or a file? So those are operated with the help of say registers called as program counter register, instruction register and status register. So register is common here. A register is nothing but it is a memory location being awarded. So it is a memory in terms of, because computer understands only zeros and ones, machine language, that is what we usually say. So whatever instruction you give to a computer, that will be understood as zeros and ones. Writing a code in terms of zeros and ones is always difficult. That is why we use something called as assembly language. I will touch all those things in later part. But right now, as a user, I am giving an instruction to open a Word sheet. So there, how does the computer take the instruction? It is because of an register called as program counter register. So program counter is nothing but something like the reception desk. So whenever a person comes to a college, just take an example, he comes and approaches the something called as reception counter. So there is a counter there to attend the person who has come there. So counter has a lot of instructions with it, so many instructions, because take an example, I have asked computer to open a Word sheet. Along with that, I have clicked on the Google Chrome or a search engine to open and I am accessing Gmail. So many set of instructions I have given to a system. I have opened a calculator. Okay, I might have opened a software like ANSYS or any modeling type of software. So many set of instructions I have given to a system. All those things need to be timed sequentially because so many applications I have opened. So where does the instruction being operated there in the computer? That is operated with the help of something called as program counter. That is why I have written here called as hold. Because you have opened all the pages, they should be there for your access when and where it is required. Right now I may be using MS Word, but in the back end you have Gmail or as well as calculator or any other application, maybe ANSYS, whatever you have opened. All those things should be available to you whenever the time and again you want to open the application. So that is called as program counter register. So its duty is to hold the set of instruction which needs to be executed one after the other. Okay. So second register is called as instruction register. It is a memory. Register is nothing but memory allocation. So how does the computer take the instruction? It takes a certain amount of time in the memory aspect of the computer. So instruction register is always working on a current instruction given to a system. So right now I am using MS Word, I am editing something. So that is always taken care with the help of a particular register called as instruction register. Okay, with the help of so many data buses and data lines. Okay, lines are nothing but it is a set of transistors which will function on the logic gates. Okay, those logic gates are commands given to the arithmetic logic unit which will usually help us to convert a particular operation into executable level. So those we will touch it later, but right now you should understand instruction register is nothing but it is a current instruction which is allocated with a memory location. So that register is called as instruction register or current instruction register. So status register you might have seen in the computers, whether you are trying to copy something from your USB to computer or from computer to USB, say pen drive, or from compact discs to computer or computer to compact discs, or maybe you are trying to transfer one folder to another folder, from one drive to another drive. In any of the cases, you will be seeing always the status bar appearing there. So copying, it is taking so many minutes, so 12 minutes, 30 minutes. So that is called as status. Okay, so even that needs a space in the instruction of the command. So that space is also provided with the help of a register called as status register. That is why we have written is flag. Flag is nothing but whether the instruction is taken care of, executed, or it is being executing, or it is being flagged. Say it is in terms of 0 and 1. So 0 is nothing but it is not flagged. So that shows instruction is not yet started to execute. So 1 is nothing but whether the things once the data gets copied, the status bar will get disappear on the screen. So that space or allocation of data for the particular instruction being given is called as status register. So all these help in for a control system, that means to say to execute a task. So from the user end, the particular memory allocation being provided is called as registers. They are all called as basic elements of control system. Next comes is address. The word address always we are familiar. So when I ask you to reach MIT Mysore, you will usually, if you are not familiar or if you are strange to college, you will ask what is the address. If I ask you to go through a website, say Indian Administrative Service, IAS related data, or maybe KPSC, Public Service Commission, or maybe any Indian Engineering Service. So all those things you will ask me, sir, what is the website address to go through the information. So address is nothing but it is usually in terms of computers we say each peripheral location which is identified with a binary number, because computer doesn't know, it has to know where the data is stored. So how does it know? Because as a human being I know college is situated in a particular place, on a particular road, in a particular hobli or village, okay, in a exact taluk or district. I can specify it with the detailed address description, even with a pin code. So for a particular place, there is an address. Okay, computer is a total system. It needs, okay, it always already has a data being stored. When and okay, there it is required, it has to retrieve the information. For that, the process is similar to our human brain. Okay, you have learned so many things right from school. Whenever I ask you a question, okay, tell me the Newton's first law. Okay, right now you will start remembering what is the Newton's first law, because you have studied it in right now from standard 8, okay, or maybe even elementary schools, primary school. So your mind will start searching it in your brain, the allocation, whatever the data is stored there, it will retrieve the information and you will start giving the statement of Newton's first law, or maybe Bernoulli's principle, or maybe basic laws of thermodynamics. So right now, before my instruction, those data are there in your brain. But when my instruction is given to you, your brain starts processing it, coming out with a set of data. So from the memory, okay, how does the instruction go to memory? So there has to be some channel. So from instruction, it has to go to the memory being stored. So that is called as address. So address is always identified with a unique name, because your house number, your house has a number, it has a particular road, it has a main, it has crossroads. Okay, so then only it is very easy to identify your house. Similarly, okay, a computer saves the data in a memory with a particular address, so that when times required, it can fetch the data from there and feed it to the control system so that it is executed on the computer screen. So for example, data is always stored in terms of, again, binary numbers, zeros and ones. So the bus is called as address bus. Address bus is nothing but they are the lines, I told you, something similar to the roads. Okay, the road will lead you to the path to the address. Okay, in the human beings or in our day-to-day life, there are roads to lead to your house. Similarly, there is something called as address bus. Bus are nothing but the interconnecting devices, right from the external devices to internal memory. Okay, say your hard disks maybe. Okay, so SSD, we usually say solid state devices, you have hard disks with so many capacities, say 500 GB capacity hard disk, 1 terabyte hard disk capacity. That is the main memory of the system. So to lead to there, right from CPU, say processor to hard disks, there should be some channel that is called as address bus to carry the instruction from the counter registers or instruction register to the memory. So those connecting lines are called as address buses. Say for example, there are so many, we call it as kilobytes, usually we say 64 KB. The data is transferring at a speed of 64 kbps or 100 KB per second. So what do you mean by those things? We are usually using them in our day-to-day life. So downloading speed is this much. Data transfer speed is, usually in smartphones we speak more often. Say for example, 2 to the power 4, say binary digit to the power 4 is nothing but 16 line address bus. Usually it is always to the exponential of 2. So many binary numbers, that means to say allocations. Whatever instruction is given there, it will be converted into zeros and ones as the machine language. The computer will understand the language and execute it. More the address buses, more faster is your processor. It can take more number of instructions to be executed. Is that clear? So next comes the arithmetic logic unit. So this is, we already spoken on this. So this is nothing but these are all related to instruction given. So arithmetic logic unit is nothing but the executing part of the cycle. So executed data, so whatever is taken from main memory, so you can see here A and B acts like an input, from main memory. If I ask you a question, so you have something already stored data in your mind, those are called as A and B. For example, it is taken arbitrary as A and B. So D is nothing but the operand. I have asked you to perform something. It may be addition, multiplication, subtraction, say basic mathematics or manipulation, whatever we do to come out with the solution, that is called as, that is represented as D here. D is nothing but operand. What is the operation you are going to carry out? So, for example, I have given you picking an object or calculate something, solve a simultaneous equation, or I might ask you to apply a boundary condition and come out with a simulated loading answers. I may ask you to find the pressure field, come out with the temperature distribution. All those are nothing but series of instructions. So, operation what you are performing there is nothing but solve, calculate, analyze, the graphical methods, plot a graph, all those are called as D, operand. So, system is also going to do all those things, within itself, just by knowing the numbers zeros and 1. F is nothing but the status of the action. So, whatever instruction you have given there, what is the status of the instruction? So, what is the amount of time which is going to take from initiating an activity and finishing that activity, that is called as status F. And finally, R is nothing but the result. So, this is a solution part, execute cycle. So, above whatever we have spoken is instruction cycle. So, whatever is given from the user. So, this is the after end result part, second half of the from the main memory to the executing cycle. So, next comes the assembler. I have already told you computer understand only machine language, say Fortran is one of the machine language, basics, Pascal, you have so many mechanical languages, they are called as assembly languages. If you learn them, they are all simple or low level programming languages, say similar to your computer languages like C, C++, Java, they are all the programming languages used by computer science engineering. So, similarly in mechanical engineering we use low level languages. Why I am stressing on low level languages is the writing the machines code, machine language is tiresome and error prone. Very difficult to write it to the level where a computer understands the whatever instruction given by the instructor. So, next level of giving an instruction is using simple codes which can be possible for a human being to write it with the help of a language called as assembly language. So, here it is written here, program written with the help of zeros and ones, say alphanumerary code, that is what we usually say, alphabets and numbers, combination of those two in a particular fashion where it can be called as an assembly language, that is called as object code or machine language. So, assembly language is again converted into machine language with the help of assembler. So, usually we have seen compiler and interpreter while writing the help DOS or performing a C programming, maybe in sequencing, selection sort technique you have undergone computer concepts and programming in first year. So, there we will use a code called as compiler where it will compile all the programming language whatever you have written. So, those instructions will be compiled into the other language. So, similarly you have something called as assembler where you write a program with a simple mechanical programming languages, and with the help of assembler that converts the entire program into a language where a computer can understand called as machine language. So, there are different type of assemblers, we call it as one time assembler, cross assembler, multiple assembler. So, that means to say one time assembler is nothing but it will convert the entire language within a single shot, within a single step, that is called as one time assembler. Similarly, you have cross assembler, varieties of assemblers which are not there in your syllabus. So, next thing is memory data register. You can see here it is a register that contains data to be stored in computer storage. So, example is RAM. So, RAM is nothing but it is a memory which is available. We have already studied about memory. So, it is a particular location which is appeared on the screen. So, right now the whatever data is available to you, say we say volatile memory or temporary memory which is available on the screen. So, that data is called as memory data register. So, this data is nothing but it is easily available, because from the main memory it is very difficult, because I told you in the previous class also, if I ask you a question, what did you have for your breakfast today, it is very easy to tell. If I ask the same question, what did you have for your breakfast yesterday, it will be moderately difficult. If I ask you, Okay, what did you have for your breakfast day before yesterday? Then you will start struggling, because it is a long back memory. To trace it from day before yesterday, it is difficult. So that is called as main memory. It is there in your mind, but to trace it, retrieve it with a very short duration of time, it is very difficult. So what does the computer do? Okay, in a computer system, what is the objective of a computer is, main memory is already stored data. We have something called as memory data register, which is a immediate, okay, storage of data which is accessible to the, okay, CPU or control signal. So that set of registers which gives you the immediate data which a very short span of time is called as memory data register, or MDR in short. Say we have given as an example of RAM. So whatever application you might have, okay, you might have opened Excel sheet where you have so many set of data. So that data is always available to you since till you close the data. So that opened data without any, okay, loss of data, it is already open to you and available to you. That set of data is called as, okay, memory data register, that location of data. Next comes clock and clock cycle. Okay, so clock is nothing but it is a sequence of pulses to time functions. Say you have given a series of instructions to a computer. Okay, so how do you time the series of actions? So you should say, if take an example of your CNC programming, I might have given the command, okay, in the your programming, say G codes and M codes. With the help of coding, I have given the instructions. Say you are performing, okay, the plane turning operation. So the tool has to start from the home position, okay, to the tool position. Then your spindle should always start to rotate. The job also starts to rotate, and you have to slowly give the feed. What should be the feed rate? Okay, when the tool comes into contact with the workpiece, then the feed rate which you have given maybe 2 mm. Okay, the blank or the, okay, the workpiece taken is of 20 mm. Okay, cylindrical object. What is the speed with which the spindle is rotating? Feed is 2 mm. Okay, 2 mm should be removed from, okay, headstock to tailstock. So many length of feed should be given on the workpiece. So all these is a series of set of activities. Once the operation is performed, okay, tool has to move back to the tool position, again go back to home position. So many activities are there just for one plane turning. So how to time all those? Because CNC machine is nothing but it is a automated machine, where if you just, a programmer gives the program without any human intervention, the operation takes place. So how does the computer do it without a human being? As if there is a human being there. Okay, so that is called as, there needs to be a clock. So how you get up early in the morning, okay, go finish all your natural cycles, then get ready, get prepared for the day, have your breakfast, maybe you come to college, be prepared with your series of timetables, finish all your classes, take breaks, finally at the end of, okay, the day you board your bus, go back to your address. So many activities are there. You have timed it on a daily basis. You have timed it on a daily basis. Similarly, a computer also, okay, having so many set of activities, because we are not going to perform only one task with the help of microprocessor. For a single task, if you are designing a microcontroller or a microprocessor, it's a huge waste of time. So many tasks will be performed parallelly from the computer. So it has to time the activity. Okay, how does it time? There is something called as a clock generator. We usually say it as gigahertz processor. Okay, 3 gigahertz processor. Okay, so many hertz. Hertz are nothing but the waveforms, the signals sent in the form of waveforms. You can see here. So they are called as clock cycle. So a particular pattern will initiate one function. So this clock cycle, what you are seeing here, that will initiate single activity. So more the number of waveforms, okay, within a particular time of seconds per minute or maybe per hour, more the number of activities initiated from the, okay, computer. So it is keeping the time, okay, with which it is launched the activity in the form of something called as clock. So that is why in the mobile phones you prefer, okay, more gigahertz processor, so that more activities are being initiated and finished within the stipulated amount of time. So you can see clock cycle is nothing but it is a time interval after which pulse pattern repeats. Okay, so this is about clock and clock cycle. So next comes instruction cycle. You can see here it is usually very important one. Instruction cycle or FTX cycle, fetch, decode, execute cycle. Fetch, decode and execute cycle. It can be asked in both the forms. So 4 important steps you need to remember here: fetching, decoding of the instruction, reading from the main memory, and finally executing the instruction. I repeat, fetching the instruction, okay, decode the instruction, read from main memory and then execute. These are the 4 important steps carried out in this, okay, instruction cycle. So whenever the instruction is given by the, okay, the user or the computer, okay, programmer. So it starts from the command start and then any instruction to execute. There is a flow chart to depict the, okay, representation here. If there is any instruction, yes, then fetch, okay, the next instruction, decode the instruction, execute it. Okay, are there any interrupts? That means to say any other function which is more important to be attended than the current instruction. If it is yes, then call the interrupt handling program. So take it as the priority. Or if it is no, again go back to start, take one more instruction. So this is the usual flow chart. So how does it take place? So there are 2 cycles here. So 1 and 2 are nothing but it is called as fetch cycle. And 3 and 4 are nothing but called as execution cycle. Okay. So in case of fetch cycle, we have already discussed. So instruction is taken by the program counter. Program counter holds the, okay, memory in the form of memory or address of the instruction being given. So that instruction is promoted to instruction register. Okay. That instruction register will usually send it through the address bus to the main memory. Okay. Second step is decoding of the instruction. Decoding also takes place in the similar fashion. Whatever the address bus picks the amount of data from the, okay, main memory. So that is being usually transferred to the with the help of, okay, instruction register or any other registers to the data bus. Okay. From that, reading cycle starts. So reading is nothing but effective address is read from the main memory and transfer the stored data. Already in main memory, whatever the data is stored, that is being retrieved into the data bus on the registers, say data registers. So that data register is usually fed to the execution part. Execution is nothing but the control signal. So whatever the CPU, timing and control unit, we have written there in the, okay, architecture of microprocessor. So that control unit will feed the data from the memory data register to, okay, arithmetic logic unit. So ALU performs the, okay, logic with the help of gates, logic gates. It carry out the tasks, give out the data to accumulator. I already told you, instruction registers are storing the instruction and accumulator, okay, so memory data register stores the inputs from the, okay, main memory. Accumulator stores the data which has to be worked on or the end result also. Okay, end result also is stored in a temporary register called as accumulator. Okay, that is how the cycle takes place. Then comes the read cycle. So read cycle is nothing but it is the amount of time memory operation is requested and completed. So this time elapsed between the request and completion of a task is called as read cycle. So how does it take place? You can see here. So these two are nothing but the memory in between the clock cycle. So between 0 and 1. Okay. So CPU places the address on the address bus during time period. During read cycle, the CPU places the address. Okay, I have to read something from the, okay, computer main memory. So that is, okay, from the memory system, decode the address and place the data. So during this phase, whatever the address you have placed with the help of, okay, the microprocessor placed from CPU, okay, from the main memory, that data will be placed with the help of address bus. Okay, that from the data bus, CPU reads the data from the data bus during the time period. Okay, these three activities takes place to read the data. Already you have stored something, say in the folder, you have stored a tabular column with a series of tabulated values. So that data you have to retrieve now. You are opening that page. So instruction is carried with the help of address bus, and then data is opened from the data sheet, whatever you have said. That data is displayed with the help of data bus finally. So this comprises of read cycle, the data which you can only read it. So write cycle, where I am as a programmer, I am writing it to the main memory. I am feeding the extra amount of data to the main memory. How does it take place? You can see here, right from the clock cycle, the CPU places the address and data on the data, because I have now, in the previous case I had only address, that means to say any instruction to be read. Here it is read and write the data. That is why I have address and data along with me. I am giving it as an input. So finally it will be stored. Finally it will be stored in the main memory for the till the next instruction given to execute the set of data. So this is all the content for the today's presentation. Hope it has reached you effectively. Go through the session again and again so that volatile contents will keep in your mind for a long period of time. Okay, thank you.